The Ordre National du Mérite is one of the major forms of decoration given by the French government. The one that people hear most of all is the Légion d'honneur. That's given for exceptional contributions to the nation. The Ordre National du Mérite is given for people who, in a lesser way, make contributions to the nation, and they're awarded every year, also in France, but secondly, overseas, especially for contributions to the francophonie. And that's where I come into the picture here, because they were interested in contributions that I had made to the French community in Newfoundland and Labrador, which is a very tiny community, but nevertheless it's there, and there's been a French presence in what is now this province for 500 years. The French have been here just as long as the English have, but in some ways our historians and writers haven't paid a lot of attention to what they've actually been doing here. And I see this as an important award because it's a recognition from a government, and also it's not my government, it's somebody else's government. It's one thing to be recognized by your own government, but they have a whole different set of criteria, and it's quite an honor to be recognized by somebody else's government, especially France. So I think that what they were picking up on here was two types of things that I'd done. One was a contribution to the francophonie, the community here. I've been involved with the French Association in St. John's. I've been a member of their choir, for example. I've broadcast for them on their cultural activities. But I think probably the most important one was that I was involved with, for several years, chairing a board that looked after all of the events that in 2004 that recognized the French presence in Newfoundland in various ways. And that was a very, very, I think, important board, because it took in people from all over the province, not only Francophone but Anglophone as well. And we had a lot of activities going on that year. So I think that rang a bell somewhere along the way. And so that's one thing, the Francophone community. But the other thing is that over the last 10 years, a lot of my research has focused upon the literature involved with the French presence here. Because the French have been here for 500 years, they've been writing about it for 500 years, but the stuff is all buried in libraries and archives all over the place. So the first thing I wanted to do was to get on the record, to open a door, if you like, to the kind of travel literature written by French writers who were here in Newfoundland. In my particular case, I just focused on the 19th century. The idea was to get a range of writings that have been written by fishing captains, naval officers, traveling journalists, representatives of government, and all sorts of things. They're all out here, and they all wrote about this place in all kinds of different ways. And then once I got that published in France, that got some recognition in France. And then the second thing I got interested in was, it turns out that the consul that they had here negotiating with the Brits, up until the signing of the Entente Cordiale in 1904, was sent to St. John's and left here for 18 years. Spent the whole 18 years trying to get out of here. They left him here because he was doing such a good job, and they said, no, we want you to stay exactly where you are. So when I started reading his dispatches in Paris, I thought, my gracious, this is unique to have 18 years worth of commentary on St. John's, its cultural life, social life, political life, by one person who's very articulate. So what I've done is put all those together in one volume, which will be coming out this month. And I think that it's a very interesting kind of take on St. John's at a very interesting and important period of time.